smash it really tonight. You're not ready, but you're not ready. So we've got, first up we have Dallas. Come up for Dallas. Really, really happy to be with us, man. Big fan. Big fan. So, without further ado, give it up for Dallas. Debuting his forthcoming, a new album. It's out, right? Yeah. Okay, give it up for Dallas Live, people. Give a warm welcome for Dallas Live.
which is 40 minutes. You know it. Really? Oh my god.
I travel a lot for recording. I lived in Colombia for 7 years in South America, and from there I worked a lot in Panama and in Brazil. And I wanted to show you a song today, kind of just as it's a good ideal example. My work it comprises of recordings from London. There's a session in London, a session in Colombia, and a session in Brazil. So it's kind of like a nice little cycle. At any point during today, just like interrupt me if you have any questions or ideas or anything like that. So I'm just going to play this song so you can get an idea of what it is. This is called You Will Return. The singer is Alice Russell. She's an English singer that I collaborated with. And the string arrangement is done by a guy called Miguel Atwood Ferguson, who is a string arranger based out of Los Angeles. basically, I just want to kind of start showing you, with this session, kind of want to show you that, like, my writing process and also kind of the mixing process. Everything's a little bit like kind of caught up in the same process. So like I tend to kind of mix and write and kind of loop and stuff at the same time. So I just wanted to show you my starting point for this song, which was with the guitar. So kind of this was, I think, the first thing that was recorded. And at this point, I didn't know where the song was going to go. There were no lyrics. There was no melody idea. There was like, this was just, you know, lonely man in room with guitar, hoping something might happen with the song. So then this, second guitar.
Are you recording yourself with the guitar then?
Yep. So it's me sitting with a guitar, with a laptop just like this, with Ableton, microphone. I think, if I remember right, it's a Fair Dynamic T88, MG88, M88, something like that. It's a dynamic microphone, so just a simple microphone and guitar.
Acoustic guitar.
Acoustic guitar, yeah. And then I guess, so basically I work and write within Ableton with these projects, so you can see I kind of like, basically I normally get like a couple different loops going. This is one, and then I got this one. And like, if I were to drag this out, you will see like there'll be probably about, I don't know, 30 minutes of me like wrestling like with what to play, and not really understanding. And eventually getting it, and then me, you know, looping up.
So do you record to the metronome in live, or do you set another one and just put it in and sync it later? Or?
I normally try and just put a drum sound in, because the click, in live, it's pretty obtuse. The click there's like no control. Like in other programs, you can kind of easily control the volume of it, you can control the pitch of it and things like that, but in live it's just like, obviously that's not really intuitive to like writing a delicate song, so I would normally try and like just get even if it's like an 808, like a click or something like that, just so you can regulate the volume. And then on this song, I guess, just talking from a writing point of view, I was looking, my mum and dad are folk musicians, so I kind of grew up with a lot of acoustic music, and it was something that until this record I hadn't really gone more acoustic, and the instruments I inherited when my father passed, so it was kind of like two very important things to kind of record for me, was this banjo here, which is kind of added on top. Again, I know it's out of tune a little bit. For me, it's just about getting a vibe down. All these things could be replaced. Actually, I didn't end up replacing them, but it's just like just trying to spend time and get some ideas down. What's that? You gotta go back to the A section. I think we've got like a C section here. And then triangle also, because that's kind of part of that family. So kind of that's where it's at the moment. So I think after that session, I ended up there's a. I was in his CFA and I met a blind accordion player that he actually passed away shortly afterwards. He was an amazing guy who played Autobashos, which is the in Germany you have it. It's like I guess you call it harmonica here. It's like a small folk kind of accordion, and met him and really got into learning some of those kind of songs. And I ended up buying an accordion from him actually, and he was blind. He was having dialysis. He had what's it called? Diabetes. So he'd lost. He had actually had amputation as well. He was like in the bed, and so it was a really interesting trip for me. And I think after that, I got like really into accordion again and started playing and learning a lot of songs. I go around, learn a lot of songs in Latin America from different accordion players. And I think I really wanted to get accordion on this, so I ended up recording some melodian kind of accordion thing on it. So. And actually, I think there's 2 accordions. There's as if one was not enough. So there's this one which has like kind of like a wet tuning, so that's when the reeds are tuned like slightly out of tune with each other, and they kind of create a tremolo sound. And then I think this one is like more of a dry tuning. And I have the accordion side chain to the drum. Don't ask me why I thought this was a good idea. But, I think just to get some movement, maybe. Cool. So I think that's pretty much where I was, and I think I left the track also for like another, I don't know, couple of months probably, and then I ended up. Normally, like if I'm working towards an album, I sort of have these instrumentals, and then I kind of leave them, and then once the album sort of, I have like a mass of songs, maybe like 7 or 8 songs, like, I start to like pull them out again and start to find singers and things like that. So I wanted to get Alice on this song. Alice is based in Brighton. She's sung a lot of different music, mainly around soul and jazz, and we've worked a lot together, and but hadn't worked together for a few years. So we started. Basically, the session I booked as a recording session in London. We didn't really have anything written. I think I had sent her the song previously, but we just arrived that day and then started brainstorming. And I'd say most of the lyric ideas came from Alice. There were some of the hooks I have right there, like with more like suggestive stuff. Some stuff we like super write together, but this one definitely she took the lead on.
Down to the river I will pass.
So I think, this is the first voice.
I walk the hills, I tread the path. Down to the river I will pass. Under skies 7 moons, cast their light silver blue.
And then Alice loves to like layer up stuff, so you got like the harmonies on top of that.
Return, you will return.
This is the main hook.
And what is gone will be again. You will return, you will return.
I don't know what this other voice is. Let's see.
Past their light silver blue.
Okay, yeah, so some guitars as well. This is by now. This is okay. This is an edit I did for a 7-inch. So I actually the original session file is a little different. But normally with the arrangement, once I start kind of getting the song together, you can see I've got like a bunch of stuff spread out here. I end up, this part of the screen, I normally end up with everything I cast aside, so I tend to keep everything. So I'm a bit of a hoarder, so it works. My Ableton files are like that too. You're trying to download the size of it, it's like too many, it's like 2 gigs or something. But yeah, I just, all the stuff I'm not using goes over here, other takes, and I just don't want to forget about it. So after that, I been really getting into. There was a concert that I was involved. There was a concert series with my friend Brian, who I was in Brazil with. There was a concert series in Los Angeles that he put on that was basically 4 concerts. One with Mulatu Estaque, one was called Sweet from My Jukes, which was a tribute to Jay Dilla with his mother. The third was Arthur Verdekai from Brazil, a great arranger and composer. And the fourth was meant to be Axelrod, but Axelrod actually cancelled in the end. So it was 3. And I was invited, I'd been to Ethiopia with Brian on to interview Mulatu in 2002. So I was invited to do a DJ set, and through that experience, got really into all those concerts. And there was a DVD, and I really loved all those recordings. And there was one recording, the Sweet from My Jukes recording, which actually I wasn't at, but it was there was an arranger composer called Miguel Ferguson who was leading the band, and it was symphonic versions of Jay Dilla. So all of the Jay Dilla stuff that he produced. If you don't know Dilla, he's a hip hop producer, and he produced a lot of different music for different hip hop acts. And this was kind of like a tribute to him. He had passed away from lupus, and it was his mother. It was like an amazing concert of just him and all his friends. A tribute to him basically. So it was beautiful. Through that, I kind of got aware of Miguel Ferguson, the arranger. So I asked him. I commissioned him to do the string arrangement for this song. This consisted of basically me sending the track to LA and waiting with bated breath because I wasn't there to record it. So
when you ask someone to do that, like, do you agree on you pay first, or you in the end you split profits? How does it work?
I normally arrange the price. I'm with every musician I work with. I try to be super clear with what the deal is. I don't think it's right that you engage like services and musicians without them knowing what they're being. If it's going to be free and you're not paying them, they need to know. If they're going to make $1 million, they need to know. Or if you're going to give a publishing split, they need to know. So I think always try and when I first started making music, I used to distribute to musicians. I used to basically do publishing and recording points with everyone I've worked with. So whoever was on the song, we did it was kind of like a socialist ideal. Like it would be everyone would get like 2.5%, and that's how. And people still get royalty checks. Like my sister played saxophone on my first record, and she still gets like a royalty check, every 6 months. So that was really cool. But then the label turned around to me and said, "Hey, this has to stop because we're like 10 albums in now. We've got like 25 people on each record. Like and we were counting like some songs, they're pounds, but sometimes they're pence. So this is just like not going to work." So then I got into the concept of buyouts, and it just gun for hire, paying people to come and arrange. And I think in the case of Miguel, he's just looking to make money. He obviously wants to arrange, but he also wants to make a living. So he was just interested in a fee. So and most arrangers, I work with Arthur Verdekai as well in Brazil, and it's the same thing. Just it's kind of like a gun for hire, and he did a great job. Miguel. It was kind of like when you're working with somebody like that, it's just there's not really any questions asked really, because you're not going to need to redo anything, or it's just like the caliber is so high,
Can I ask, with Alice Russell, is it the same basis?
With Alice, it's a little different because we've been working together. We tend to just split everything down the middle. So I always try and get singers a fee. Normally the fee is like in advance. So if I work with a singer, I'll pay them a recording fee, and then that will be like in advance on that 50%. So
Okay.
and then it's like 50-50 down the middle on publishing and recording. So. And that's normally on the instrumental version too. So even if their vocal isn't on it, they'll be earning because they're associated with the song. So.
And with the strings with Michael Ferguson, he doesn't get any copyright.
I don't know. I can't remember if he does. I don't think he does. I think it was just a buyout.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe actually, you know what? Maybe he does. Maybe I got publishing split. Yeah, I would have to look at the line in those.
Do you give him a basic idea for the string parts, or do you leave it up to his?
I guess with this, we just talk through. We talk through the track a little bit. I think for me, it's about picking people who will just get the vibe of the song. Because if I tend to not work with people who question what the idea of the song is. Like, I just want to find people who are just going to be like, yeah, I get it. Like, and that's like, it might sound lazy or something like that, but it just makes your life easier. I think just with if you just, like, I could have got a percussionist who was just trying to do something completely different and like just out of, I mean, in the end it was something completely different and it brought something to the track. But like, if he wasn't like questioning, like, you know, what do you want me to do here? Like, how is this going to work? You know, it's like just a very natural process because he's just the dude, like, just fine. But I think just finding the right people is important.
Did you go to Brazil to record the percussionist?
Yes. Yeah, I was there in Rio. Yeah.
So you went specifically?
No, actually, I didn't. But I tend to always have my laptop with me so I can record.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what equipment do you take when you go travelling?
Well, in this instance, I forgot my laptop on this trip. So it's a bad example, but normally, a laptop interface and a microphone. Normally, and then I'm just trying to travel more light these days because it's just a lot of stuff to carry around. But, and just makes you going through airports is easier.
With this Brazilian musician, was he listening to the playback?
Yes. Yeah. So he was aware of the banjos and the guitar. Like, he was vibing off that. That's really important for sure, because rather than it being him just playing something, because you know what, like the people, I think sometimes, well, certainly from my experience, like from a European perspective, like there's a dumbing down of the importance of like tonality and voicing of drums. I don't know about you guys, but when I grew up, like in school, no one really taught me about. I was taught about melody on a piano, but I wasn't taught about melody on a drum, and melody and the kind of polyrhythmical kind of melodies that exist in drumming, and how those are really supporting to a song. You know, for instance, those low tones, like in the conga, you know, if they're not right, if they're not sitting right with the polyrhythms of the guitars, it's like it's just all part of the same family. So. It's important, and I think it's important that somebody's playing to the song you're going to be playing.
Sample-based material and use of those 10 fingers.
We have a video if you want to.
Awesome, please. Changed a lot of the setup over the year to accommodate things that were happening on tour. I had kind of little moments between tours, so I had a chance to make.
So this is an update which in the future, if I have a chance to show the piece again, definitely has to stay there, because it's actually in my spatial perception, the shadow is in the foreground. The bluish piece, bluish white piece is in the background, and the red is somewhere in between. So it creates, again, a different sense of depth. I was very naive, and I started writing very naive things, and at some point I noticed that I cannot move on, and I need to rewrite my software. And for my Lumiere concert pieces, I was forced to write a very different type of laser graphics engine, which evolved over 2-3 years, and now is in a very matured state. And so there's a lot of technical things I learned. For instance, the lasers are not pointing completely straight at the screen surface, but in a tilted way. So I needed to understand how certain types of keystoning work, because this is nothing which the lasers do by themselves. With a video projector, well, someone wrote a firmware to do that. With the lasers, the way I use them, I'm just directly controlling the mirrors. So there is no firmware, there's no other software package in between me and the control of the beams and the mirrors, which means every detail which I need to do, I need to understand and code by myself, and there's no library so I can rely on, so there was quite a strong learning curve. And for my concert pieces, I was forced to learn all these alignment keystoning things, because
it wasn't really a question. I'm wondering more, what is the difference in thinking between those two things, or did I just answer that question for you?
No, for the concert piece, you obviously are confronted with a very different set of expectations. And laser beam is distributed over an area of 62.8 square centimeters approximately. That's fine, that's completely safe. But I reached this final diameter not by constraining the size, but simply by firing the next cue at the right time. And at some point during the rehearsal, I decided it would be great if things would all be a bit snappier. What happened is that at this one point in the middle of the piece, the laser beam goes down to 0 and stays at the screen for 3 seconds. And because that's an issue. And so this was the moment where I was very close to hit the red button, which shuts everything down, because that's what you're actually supposed to do in such a scenario. And then I remembered that actually I had a fader for the intensity, so intensity down. These are the risky things which can happen if you change things on the fly. That was not a question or nothing, but it was a nice anecdote, I guess.
That's amazing. At that point, maybe we should open it up to questions from you. There's a floating mic, right? Does someone have that mic?
Yeah.
Do we have? Stan has a mic, so people have to come up, or?
This depends on where people are.
Right.
The cable is quite long.
Basically, think of a loop of wire which you just deform. Then I apply a grid in time over it, where the x-axis is with a different grid than the y-axis, and that creates these interesting, nice rectangular shapes with the bright dots in the corners. Sometimes I force the laser beam to move in time 0 from one position to the other position. And this is, since it's mechanical mirrors, impossible. It's pretty much the same as you run in one direction, and then some guy on the other side of the street says, "Hey, you," and you turn around. You make this nice curve. You optimize the path. It's actually a very interesting physical thing. What you see on these curved lines is the physically best way for the mirror to do the impossible task of being without any time from here to there. And the great thing is that these types of lasers I'm using allow me to actually do these kind of things without complaining about it. So these curves are not calculated, they are just emerging due to the process. And this is, again, a part where I feel the laser is an instrument. I am using the property of the instrument. I'm embracing the fact that there are certain things which I get as a byproduct. Here's my MIDI note, and here's the actual resulting sound with all the dirt, with all the imprecision which make this thing interesting. And normally in any commercial laser graphics applications, this is exactly the type of things where you turn the laser beam off before, so that this still happens, but no one notices it. So, and instead of turning it off, it's like removing the anti-aliasing filter because the aliasing sounds so beautiful. Yeah.
Whereas
So-
what you do with music, and then a question that you would.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks, Dennis, for the introduction. And yeah, well, I mean, what more can I say? I'm super excited to welcome you tonight onto the stage. Lee Scratch Perry, a true revolutionary of sound and music, innovator, inventor.
You're coming into life.
Right.
You see it in there.
Like the image in the film.
Your side,
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah, yeah. So we're kind of always
You
making.
bring it out.
Yeah, I think Rob's film really does that. I think he really helps to bring out all kinds of different visions for you. And I think we could start with a clip just now, just to kind of get into the mood of it. So if we could watch film clip number 1.
What does it need to do with song?
You have to put something that originally what God said. Like those ways of sin is dead. Give up God eternal life. There's a story you have to tell. And you will be blessed for that. And if you think something that lead them astray, you will be responsible for it and you will be burned.
You're responsible.
What to write, what to sing, what to teach the people who God responsible for.
I think that's a really strong kind of statement. Yeah, to continue, I guess, talking about visual art, I wanted to, there's another painter that we've worked with, Peter Harris, who's a British painter, and there's a clip from the film which shows you working with him, so I'd like to maybe play that right now, and that's some of the Is that cool with you?
One summer's night, the British artist Peter Harris came for a painting session. The spirit will speak, he told me before. Everything is possible in art.
Even on the plane.
Oh really? Do they like you? Do the babies like you? I bet, you know what, I bet they probably like that. They can see, I can see my reflection in your hat, right? And I think if I was a little kid, I'd think that was the best thing ever. That I could see my face in a hat. So, yeah.
Scratch Perry. To me, it's like every night the music's a little different. You know,
Magic.
Yeah.
My teacher's name is Merlin.
Merlin? Like a magician?
The magician, great magician artist. He talks to me all the time. He immortal, eternal, and he never go away from me. I could not survive with the great Merlin. I could never survive with the great Merlin.
Together from a different set of beliefs. And it made me think about how, you know, these things are kind of coming together. This is like a festival about music technology, and it's all like, you know, cutting edge, but actually a lot of people, you know, come back to these very sort of deep, spiritual, ancient ideas, and the live setting is maybe where that really happens. Right?
Yeah, completely. And I think that for me, an important thing, although I work with a computer and work with Ableton, is that we have.
Yeah, two of us. Two of us.
Two of us, as in you and him?
Yeah, two of you.
Or me and you?
Two of you.
Two of me?
Two of you.
Uh-huh.
My twin brother is His Imperial Majesty Emperor Selassie.
So shall we?
It's credible that why should he have one life? Is it true of life, true of magic, true of science, true of miracle? Walks into the flesh and come up. You come back to fight against nicotine cigarette. And he decides to get rid of nicotine cigarette and legalize ganja and children and the children can smoke ganja and have fun.
Good. Shall we watch watch clip number 5, please.
I can see clearly now that I'm breathing more. And all the dreadlocks have disappeared. I can see clearly now.
Yeah.